making some chili. It's fall and today's a special day. So we're in the kitchen. Might as well do something fun. And so I'm taking you along on the journey. So what we're going to do at this point is that we're going to remember I'm plant-based and I try to make most things plant-based friendly. And sometimes it works and sometimes it's a little difficult, but we're going to do that today. So the first thing I'm going to do is that in this little teeny 8-inch skillet, I'm going to put together some ground beef for the big guy to go in his chili. And then I have some tofu or soy type of base that's going to be going into mine. So let's get that ready and let's get the heat on it. We're not making a large pot, but you know, sometimes it's just something that you want. And so we're going to get this on the stove, get it ready, and welcome to all of you. So I welcome you to the kitchen, and I hope that you're going to enjoy what we're going to do today. So let's go over here, get into the refrigerator, and get into the kitchen, get onto the stove, and as you're dropping in, I'll get to chat. You're close enough that I can see you. So let's I've got a visitor who keeps calling in. I don't know why they're calling in, but anyway, you know, don't you just hate spam? I get a lot of that. All right, so we're going to put in about a quarter of a pound, like a quarter burger that you would have, about a quarter. That should be enough for his, maybe just a tad bit more. And all that's going in. I'm going to add some house seasoning, my house seasoning, to the mix. And I've got the recipe down in the description box for the house seasoning. And we're going to get this seasoned up, and it's going to be ready to be placed into the chili. Now, let's find my other spurtle. Okay, here we go. So we can get all of this cooked. How are you all today? I hope you're enjoying the day. Who have I got? Charlene. Hello, hello. Yes, I'm live today. I would have been on earlier today, but I found out Miss Denise was on, so I didn't want to, interrupt what she was doing. Our girlfriend was cooking it up. She was making some biscuits with her sourdough discard. And while she was making biscuits, I was making pancakes. So I was teasing her after the show was over and telling her that great minds think alike. So we've got chili being prepared today. Now, like I said, this ground beef is for the big guy. And because that's not something I'm going to eat. And I've got my house seasoning in it, which is just garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper. And I'm going to have that off to the side. So when I prepare the chili, I can prepare it my way. And then I can just add what I need into my bowl and add what he needs into his bowl. So it's going to be fun. We'll get pretty far into this and at least get it all on the stove and ready to go. You know what? We have talked about, in fact, we talked about it today when we were going to do another dual cook where both of us are cooking on the screen. And it really is a lot of fun. And I think what we'll probably do is that we'll select each our favorite dish. and then we'll prepare it right here for you guys live. So I'm looking forward to that. So it doesn't take long. So I'm going to let this cook. Now I've already, let me show you what I've chopped up. I've chopped up some onion. I've got green peppers, red peppers. Now, while we like jalapenos, I don't want to cook the jalapenos in. I want my jalapenos fresh. And so I'm going to put those off to the side. Hello, Caleb. Happy Monday. We're doing great today. Today's a great day and the first day of fall. So I try to tie in chili with fall. And the thing about that is that some people eat chili year-round. Well, I'm not that girl. I usually, I do fall, winter, and maybe really, really early spring. If it's a cool spring, I may still have some chili. But for the most part, I really don't prepare chili during the warmer months because to me it just has, it has warm flavors. And I try to prepare it only if it's a cool time, of which it has been. Okay, let me get a bowl that we can put this in, and once we finish up, let me get that. Okay, so I'm going to put all of his meat in here. Now, if you look over here to the side, you'll see where I've been prepping. I'm also working on a new recipe for our sourdough. And from Japan. Hi, how are you? We're so glad to have you. And that's wonderful. Thank you for tuning in today. And so we're preparing, it's fall here, and we're preparing a delicious chili for dinner tonight. And I like to prepare my chili early if I can. And it gives it time enough to simmer and be ready for later. Now, our ground beef is ready. And like I said, I'm not going to put the ground beef in the chili because I'm not going to eat that. The big guy's going to eat it, but I'm not going to eat it. So, let me get our ground beef out. All that out of the skillet. Now what I'm going to use are some crumbles today because that's a little easier since I've done quite a bit of cooking today. I'm going to somewhat take the shortcut and use the vegan crumbles. Which are more soy based. All right, so all of that is out. Now this is for the big guy because he eats beef. All right, so his beef is ready. And I'm going to get this off the stove, but I'm going to leave the eye on because we're going to need it. All right, that's out. And like I said, we're doing a fairly small pot of chili tonight. And let me turn you so you can see. Trying to get you to see both. There we go. So we got our chili going here. I'm going to let the bottom of this get a little warm. I'm going to start with some water and I have about a cup of water that I'm putting in. I'm going to turn the heat up so that it's boiling. And because I'm trying to cut back on the oil, and so I'm going to let that get started. Fortunately, everything was pretty hot, so we'll let this pot come up. Once this pot is nice and hot, Then we're going to add the onions and the peppers. We're going to let them saute in the mixture. And then we're going to start to add in all the good seasonings. Now, I picked up some of Tabitha Brown's seasonings. And I thought today, I've got one of hers that's called Sunshine. It's an all-purpose seasoning. We're going to use a little bit of that. And we're also going to turn to McCormick's. And I love McCormick's chili seasoning. And it's usually really good. So, in Tabitha Brown's Sunshine, very little salt and lots of seasoning. I don't have my glasses on, otherwise I try to read it out to you, but that's not going to be possible. Okay, we've got it boiling down here. I'm going to go ahead and put in I have one whole green pepper and a small red pepper, very tiny. I'm going to add in all the onions, and that was one whole onion. Okay, so that's in, and we're going to let that cook. Let me get some of my house seasoning to start off with. That's just our onion powder, garlic powder, and black pepper that we're throwing in first. And that's just to give the vegetables some flavor. I'm going to add just one pinch of salt because I already know that McCormick's has a little bit of salt in it. So I have to be real careful with that because I don't want it too salty. So once all of this starts to boil and most of this water is gone, then we'll be ready to add the rest of our ingredients. Now, let me show you. McCormick's has a packet, and this is so nice to have when you're trying to put together a chili quick. And so that's exactly what I'm doing today, is doing a quick chili. Not one that we're going to let cook all day. Or we could even use this and put it in the crock pot. So I'm going to start this out. I'm going to put the chili seasoning in, and I'm going to turn the fire down just a little bit because I don't want that chili seasoning to burn. Whew, I can smell the chili pepper. Okay, that smells good. Let it cook a few more minutes. We'll give it just a tad bit. But what I am going to do is to add some tomato paste, because tomato paste is going to just add a good consistency to our chili. How many of you like Wendy's chili? Now, you know, is Wendy's chili as good as what we might fix at home? Probably not, but it has the best consistency. And I like that consistency because you can use it for your baked potatoes just like they do in the restaurant. And most of the time, that's exactly what I do. I ask for a chili potato rather than just getting the chili. All right, so we've got our tomato paste in to give us our good consistency. I'm going to let that cook for just a minute. I always want to give your paste a chance to cook. That's good. And you might even decide, depending upon how much chili you're going to prepare, you may decide to use 2 packets rather than 1. Now, what I am going to do is that I'm going to add, I'm trying a product called, I'm tasting it because I have no idea what it's going to do. This is Bush's Best Chili Magic. So we're going to throw some of that in. I'm thinking it's Bush's, so it should be pretty good. we got that. Give all that a good stir. And I love Rotel. Rotel's, this is the diced tomatoes with green chilies. Green chilies in chili is the perfect match. So we're putting in 1 can of Rotel tomatoes with green chilies. Now that's not all the tomatoes. And I'm going to add 1 can of petite diced tomatoes. Now if you don't like a lot of tomatoes, you can certainly cut back on that, but this is my chili and this is how we like it. All right, so we got our tomatoes in it. Those tomatoes are going to cook down and make a lot of good juiciness into our chili. Okay, I love the color. It's a good color. Now, I'm also going to add Bush's chili beans. And these are pinto beans that we're going to add to the mix. So that was a can of the Chili Magic that did have beans, and a can of the chili beans themselves that's pintos. So those are in. Now, depending upon how much, how tomatoey you like yours, or how loose you like yours, you may want to add just a little tomato sauce. And I'm going to add a little. This is a 15-ounce can. I'm going to add half of that. And I'll freeze the rest in a little small container. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is, oh, here it is. I'm going to go to Tabitha Brown's all-purpose. Oh, it smells good. We're going to add just a touch of that. And I'm going to get another spoon. I think I'm going to go ahead and add the second envelope of McCormick's. Even though it's pretty good at this point. I don't know if I need all of it. Well, I'm going to hold off on this for right now. And if I decide after it really cooks for a while that I need to add more, I can. I have some Chipotle seasoning, and I think I'll shake a little bit of that in. Now later on, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, I like mine served over spaghetti, and kind of a Cincinnati style. And so I'm going to let this bubble for quite a while, and we're going to cook the spaghetti off to the side. All right, let's see. I like that. I like that. That Chipotle gave it just the kick that it needed. Am I going to add hot sauce? No. Now, if the big guy wants hot sauce later on, he can certainly do that, but I'm not going to add hot sauce for me. And so, who's on? Steve. Aw, how sweet. Your stomach's bubbling. What do you mean your stomach's bubbling? And your stomach should be gurgling because you know we got some good chili here. And you need some chili. You need some chili. It would be really good today. And Hello, Stephanie. How are you? It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well and looking forward to seeing you soon. Hey. So we got a lot going on today. So, like I said, this morning I prepared hold on. Oh, excuse me. I prepared some pancakes, and oh my goodness, they were delicious. We had pancakes, and I cooked some apples on the side, and I, like I said, I started a loaf of bread that I'll actually bake tomorrow. And so there's been a lot of cooking going on in the kitchen. And so it's been a busy day. So that's the reason, another reason why we're doing chili today, because of the fact, number one, it's fall and time for that first pot of chili. And number two is because of the fact that I can put it here, I can put it on the stove, let it go low and slow until time for dinner, because we really won't eat it until about 5 o'clock. Now, some of you have been asking questions about if you have any sourdough questions that you want to ask. Certainly, come on in and talk about sourdough. The good thing is about sourdough is that it is so nutritious, and it's good for your body, good for the gut. And for those of us who are having gut issues, it helps to settle things down. And, we talk about the flour, we talk about all those things, but, we need to have something in our gut that's going to be able to break down all of the gluten that is in the flour, and that's exactly what sourdough does. Now, Shalane said, yes, pancakes and fried apples. Oh my gosh, they were so good. Well, that's okay. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here with me, Shirley. So, we've got you here, and hopefully you're having a good time. Now, so we have been talking a lot about, I'm going to move you around a little bit. We've been talking about pantry items and using your pantry to a point where you can prepare a meal, number one, using only pantry items, and you can prepare a meal that is going to be delicious. But we have to learn how to cook and not necessarily have a recipe. And that's what I'm doing today. I don't have a recipe. And all right, I have one, but I'm not using the recipe. So that's the good thing, is that I'm practicing not using the recipe. And you have to just take your time. You have to taste along the way. The more you taste, then the better it's going to be. And you want the flavors of what you're preparing to be something that your family enjoys. So there may be some things that I put into my dish that may not work for your family, or the quantity may not work for your family. You may have a family that doesn't like onions, or some families don't like green peppers. And so okay, I'm reading as I'm talking. Sheila Norris Hilson is with us today. Sheila, so glad to have you with us. And you know what? Let me tell you a little bit about starter dough. And the starter dough cookie recipes, what I like to do is that whatever that mixture is, I typically add at least a half cup of starter to the mixture. And I'm going to be making some sourdough I see you don't want chocolate chip. Well, that's kind of one of those cookies that we always have, chocolate chip. And of course, hubby likes the peanut butter as well. So I'll have to play around with some of those others. We do make almond cookies occasionally, and yes, I can do that with starter. But think, half a cup of your starter discard will go into your batter. And if you really want the good benefits of your sourdough, then fix it one day, fix the batter one day, put it in the refrigerator, give it an overnight ferment, and let it ferment your batter. And you will end up with such a nice tender cookie. And now I haven't done fancy Christmas cookies, the pretty Christmas cookies. I haven't done any of those with the starter yet, but I'm working on it. I'm working on that. And I typically add it into my cake batter. You can do that. Now, Charlene is saying that her issue is some of her older grandkids, they're so picky with all the different diets out there. Yes, it's hard. And all of us, I think, run into that. I have two in particular who are extremely picky. And so some things I have to prepare, and I have to finely grate certain things that I know needs to be in whatever it is so that they don't see it. But now another thing to keep in mind is that I know back in the day, we fixed one recipe, one dinner. We had, I know mom usually had one type of meat. She may have had two to three selections of vegetables, including a starch and some kind of bread, a drink, and that was it. But it was versatile enough that you could pick and choose from what was there. And so hopefully your older grandchildren, the thing of it is that their taste buds just haven't developed enough. And I encourage mine to at least take 3 bites. And so that they will really know, sometimes they look at it and go, ooh, I don't want that. And so before they've even tasted it. So it's always good to let them at least taste it so that they can truly say, oh, I just don't like that flavor, and know why they don't like it. I can remember when I was young, I didn't eat blueberries, didn't eat blackberries, and certainly not in a cobbler. Didn't have blueberry or blackberry jam, none of that, because I just couldn't see everything that was in there, and it was just a little too dark for me. That was my issue. If it looked funny, then I wouldn't eat it. And so the thing of it is that sometimes it's the way it looks, and so we have to encourage them to at least take a taste, and then they'll know for sure. Because sometimes once they taste it, then they like it. Or have them cook with you if possible, so that they can see. Let them put the ingredients into the dish. I do that a lot. And my oldest grandchildren, in fact, the oldest 3, because they cook so much with me, they have a really good idea as to what they like and what they don't like. Now, let me grab a spoon, and we need to give our chili a little stir here. It's just bubbling away. And then I'm going to turn it down so it can simmer. There we go. Because I don't want it to stick. All right, I'm putting it down on low. There we go. Oh yeah. Now, let me get a spoon. It's time to do a little taste test again. That's the thing about cooking. You got to taste. All right. That's what I'm going for. That's the flavor I'm going for. Let me get a top for this. See if this will fit. Oop, too small. Well, guys, you won't believe this. I don't know where the top is to this. The top. I hope I didn't take it to the Goodwill when I took some. I was eliminating some things out of my cabinet, and anything that had a duplicate, I tried to donate, and I think I donated the top to this particular pot. So let's see what else we can do. All right. This is a little big, but I think it'll work. Ah, it works. Okay. Never donate the top you need. Always try it out. All right, so we've got our chili going and bubbling. It's on low. I'm going to let that bubble until about 5 o'clock. And I'm going to do a little cleaning while we're here. Did I put in ground turkey? That's a good question. No, I did not. What I did was that I prepared for the big guy some ground beef. I took a portion of the beef and just prepared enough for him to be able to sprinkle it into his chili, because the rest of the chili I'm going to be able to eat myself, and I'm not going to eat the ground beef for me, and I don't want the turkey, I don't want any of that. So I'm going to put this in a Ziploc, get it ready for the freezer. And what I like to do is to really flatten it out. I know we've talked about this on the show. I like to get it nice and flat, and I freeze it flat so I can break off just what I need. So we end up with a nice flat package, and it's like a book. So when I put it into the freezer, it's going to go into the freezer like this, and it won't take up a lot of space. But no, I did not use ground turkey, but all right, you could certainly do that in yours. So think about that. But if you have someone who, I mean, like in my family, I've got most of our people are meat eaters. Actually, I'm the one off the reservation this time. And so I don't want the ground beef. And so what I typically do is to prepare the meat on the side. And then that way, they have it the way they want it. I have it the way I want it. And we're all happy. But we have the same dish. And so that's a good thing. I hope I answered that for you. Now, this certainly was a pantry meal. Everything was out of the pantry. These are staples that I keep in my pantry, and particularly in the fall, you're going to add some things to your pantry that you may not have during the other time of the year. And to be honest with you, chili mix is probably one of those things that I do not add until the fall. And I try to get enough to last through the fall and winter, and then we can, I restock. And that way I have a fresh supply all the time. I do keep some in the extended pantry because let me tell you what had happened before. We had a terrible hurricane hit our area, and we lost power for about a week. And so we were cooking off the grill. And so it was really a lot of fun because I got in with the neighbors. We of course, you know, after a week, you're dealing with not only you're worried about what's in your refrigerator, you're worried about what's in that freezer and whether or not it's still good. So you've got to be able to cook those items up. So we had one big neighbor party, a whole cul-de-sac. And so at dinner time, we'd have our grills out in the middle of the cul-de-sac and we would cook. And then everybody got to eat. And so kids could pick and choose. There was a range from hot dogs to barbecue ribs to steak. All of those things, because those things had to be cooked because they were in the freezer. And so it was such fun being able to bring the neighborhood together to do something helpful for everybody and to also use the things that needed to be used, and we didn't have to throw food away. Now, okay, so we've got, I've been really working my cast iron a lot, and I found this morning, typically when I'm making pancakes, I usually do it with a nonstick skillet, but I have gotten my cast iron to a point where I don't have to. I can just use the cast iron, and it works, has a nice non-stick surface. And what I do once I've cleaned it, is that I put it on the stove, turn the eye on, and let it get screaming hot, and then turn it off. So I'm going to do that right now. Go over. Okay, I've got it on high. I'm going to let it stay there until it's just really, really hot. And we'll be ready to take it, let it sit there and cool off. And it'll be ready for the next time we want to cook. Yes, this chili, the way it is right now, is meatless. And I'm just going to add the meat to it. And at the end, I'll add the big guy's meat in. And I'm going to use a soy-based mixture, basically tofu, that I'm going to put in a little chili powder with it. And that's what I'm going to add to mine. But, I mean, it's not that I have to. I could just eat it the way it is. But I like having that meaty texture. And, you know, sometimes when you try to do a meatless meal, it's not that you can't eat it meatless. It's just that you miss the texture of the meat. And that's what it is for me. Sometimes I miss that texture. And so I have to do something that's going to give me that. And then I'm okay. You know, I can go without it. Now the pepper that I put in, the little red pepper, look how tiny this thing is. Isn't that cute? He came from the farmer's market. And one has survived. And I've had them for several weeks. But one's going to have to go. So our skillet is dry. So I'm going to turn that off. And we're ready to go. What are you guys doing today for the first day of fall? Anything special? I'll see what I can find though about those starter dough cookies. I have some particular people that I talk to about sourdough, and let's see what I can find out, because I think if it works the way it did with my uh, chocolate chip cookies and my oatmeal raisin cookies, all I had to do was to just add a half a cup. You can add a half cup up to a cup of starter in your dough. Give it an overnight ferment, and let it work on the acid, the phytic acid that's in your dough, and you're ready to go. So, and it makes a very tender cookie. So like I said, oatmeal raisin, yeah, we can do that too. All right. Any other questions about starter or about the chili that we prepared today? Now, Wednesday coming up, Miss Denise and I are going to be in a conversation that is something that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about preparedness and being ready. And we're taking it from a perspective of many of us live in areas that have a tendency to have problems with weather, and whether it's extreme rain, whether it's snow, whether it's extreme cold or ice. Many of us live in those areas. And so because of that, we need to make sure that we are ready and prepared. And now is the time to do it. We don't want to wait until just a day before. We have to, we know a big snow's coming, and we wait. And we're the ones in the grocery store running around like a mad person trying to find milk or bread. We don't want to be that person. We want to make sure that we are well prepared. So we're going to be looking at some things that we should do now. And we're going to do it budget friendly. And we're going to talk about a list of things and how we can just set ourselves up for success. And I hope that all of you have enjoyed today, because I certainly have. It's been a lot of fun being able to chit chat with you while I cook. It's fun being in the kitchen, but it's more fun if you got your girlfriends and guy friends right here with you while you're cooking. So, if you don't have any other questions, I'll give you a minute or so. We got the kitchen cleaned up, and basically, I'm ready for dinner. And I have some sliced cheese that I'm going to put on some bread and fix a little cheese toast to go with chili, and a little cilantro, and chili's going to be good. So I'll see you soon. And in fact, I'll see you Wednesday, 7:45 p.m., ready to go, so that you're ready to be well prepared no matter what. I'll see you soon. Bye.